A little more energy, but no drinking coffee.
I put the coffee down, making it like, I feel like a coffee shop feel.
Yeah, it was. That's not what we're going for.
I'm ready.
3, 2, oh.
No, you go. And 3.
3, 2, oh. Hey guys, it's Summer, and this is Jimmy.
Hello.
My husband. And a while ago, about a month ago, I made a video and asked you guys to leave your questions in the comments, and Jimmy and I would do a question and answer video. I personally love watching these videos on other people's channels. I think it's so interesting. I love hearing about beauty and makeup, but I just am intrigued and want to know more about people's lives and like behind the scenes kind of stuff. So we are going to take all your questions and we're going to answer them. I've already coached Jimmy to keep it short and sweet, so you can get a little wordy if you watch him in the Saldana fam cams.
No lectures today.
Yeah, no, we're keeping it short and sweet because we want to get to all the questions if possible. All right, you ready?
Yep.
First question is from Valerie. She wants to know about our tattoos. How many do we have? What do they mean? That kind of stuff.
I only have 2, one on each arm, and they're the names of our kids.
Because, oh brother, oh my word.
Sorry, it might be obstructing your whole face, but there it is. And then,
and then Chloe's.
And Chloe's on this arm.
Yeah, and I have 2. I have this one. Can you see that? That's
it says
the
agape?
Greek for agape, and I just have that on my love vein. So this is like the vein that your wedding ring, or the ring finger, that vein is supposed to go straight to your heart. That's like what they say, but it's not real.
Did you Snopes it?
I don't know. I have it on there just as a reminder. Agape is how God loves us and how we should love others. And so it's just kind of a reminder for me. And then I have a tree, a giant tree on my back. That was my first tattoo. And I thought it would be small, but he really wanted to go big. I feel like my bangs are getting a little funky on the side. They look okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I have a big tree of life on my back, and I have birds flying away from the tree. Those are loved ones that have passed away. I have 2 flowers on the tree, one for each of our children. And then one of the branches is words, and it comes out like a branch, and it says, "He will bring beauty from my pain." And that's from a Super Chip. Am I hungry? It's a Super Chick song called Beauty from Pain, and it's just the song that I listened to over and over and over again when I was going through my time of anxiety, and it just gave me hope in dark times that no matter what I was going through, even though it was really painful, that I could trust that God was going to use that in a beautiful way somehow. And so I thought it was kind of cool to incorporate into the tattoo as just another reminder. I'd like to have more tattoos. I actually had one drawn up and put a deposit on it, and then Jimmy said it was too masculine.
No,
he did. You said it. That is exactly what you said.
That is so out of context.
And then he was kind of like, he used to say he'd love it if I was covered in tattoos, and then he was like not so into it. So
that's not true.
I lost my deposit.
I think it looks cool when girls are all tatted up. But
except for when it's your wife.
I think it looks cool when it's my wife. That whole thing about it. He likes it on Angelina Jolie, though. That whole thing about it being too masculine is way out of context. There's
I think we should move on.
Yeah, we're trying to be brief.
What's your most embarrassing moment? We already talked about this. Neither one of us really has one that we can recall.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been embarrassed
Yeah.
so many times, but I can't think of one that stands out. So I can't really think of
It might come to me, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Do I still take Monolaurin? Nicole asks, I do, but not on a regular basis. I'm not super consistent with it. That's a supplement to help you, like, it's like a probiotic, but it's not probiotics. It helps you, like, not to get sick. How do you keep your kids in the Word, and what advice would you give to a family that is crazy busy for devotion time? And do you have a favorite family devotion book?
Yeah, we're crazy busy too, and that's always been a struggle for us to have a family devotion time.
I wish we were as consistent about it as the Duggars are.
The Duggars aren't awesome about it.
So good.
But I do think it's super important. So I think the best way to encourage your kids to be in the Word is to be in the Word yourself on a regular basis and set that example. And that's not easy. That's just a matter of disciplining yourself. You're probably never going to feel like going and doing it, but you can make it a habit nonetheless. And then when your kids see you doing that, then it makes it easier to do a family devotion time where you get together as a family and read the Bible to them. I'm a fan of just reading straight through the Bible to the family rather than a devotion book, because devotion books tend to be like 1 or 2 verses, especially if they're for kids, and then a lot of explanation. I think it's good to just get them used to just reading through the Bible and hearing it, even if they don't understand it.
But going through, like when we have our family devotions, you take time and explain it. Yeah. Like what you're reading.
So like I'll read it, each little section, and explain it in plain English a little bit, read, and let them ask questions. A good way to start, I think, is go ahead and start in like the book of Proverbs, because there's 31 chapters.
There might be some parts you have to skip.
Like there's a lot of advice to his son to avoid harlots and stuff, and the adulterers.
Taylor's like, what's a harlot?
So... Anyway. But that's a good one to start. You can just do 1 chapter a day there, and that's relatively easy. Also, number 1 thing, though, is set a realistic goal for yourself. Don't say, we're going to do an hour devotion every day.
We did that.
Yeah, just do something small. Just something that you know you can do, and then do it. Just do it.
Yeah, we should just do it.
Just do it.
Are you going to just do it?
Yeah.
Maybe we should get back on track ourselves.
Yeah, we've kind of been
Once we got our foster daughters, we fell off the track. Do you guys plan on having any more babies? Or it's medically impossible.
It has been made medically impossible for me.
For him.
I am willing to try, though, to see if a miracle could happen.
I do not want a miracle to happen.
We should still try anyway.
But possibly we've prayed about and are continuing to pray about adoption, but not babies. I'm realizing I'm definitely out of the baby stage.
Babies take some work.
I like other people's babies, and then I like to give them back when they start crying. What does Jimmy do for a living aside from church classes? I, for a long time, thought he sold insurance and told people that.
This will be brief.
Okay.
So what I do is I work for a commercial property insurance company that we specialize in earthquake insurance.
Aren't you glad you asked?
I do... I'm in charge of running the catastrophe model. We use a computer model to model all of the seismic risks. And we use that. I developed some pricing algorithms to help optimize the portfolio and spread the risk. And we do this on behalf of several companies. And that's the gist of what I do. So I do some math and some computer stuff. And to me, it's pretty fun.
What is one thing you would tell your high school self? I actually wrote a whole blog post about this because I used to be a youth group leader, and I could just see these girls like making so many of the mistakes that I did and just so much pain that was unnecessary. So I wrote this blog post for mostly them, and I'll link it below. But mostly I would just tell myself, like, that guy, that friend, it's not worth it. They're just not worth it. Right?
Yeah, and they're not the one. I would tell myself...
Likely, it's not the one.
I would tell myself... don't let girls take up that much of your thought life. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Just wait till you're a little older.
There's so much more, obviously, that I would say, so I would encourage you guys to check out the blog post below. How do you handle fights, and what advice do you have for others?
That's good. I feel like we've
come
more
a
recently,
long way in 12 years.
We've gotten better at it. But it has been 12 years to kind of get to that point.
Yeah.
I think we have learned how to not react. Is probably in the moment is one thing, right?
I think the best way for us to handle fights, we react. I react.
Yeah, but we know how to not let something escalate better than we used to.
Yeah, kind of. You realize you're wrong quicker. I feel like it's really
I think some good advice that seems like it will universally work in a lot of areas of life is just don't say anything for a little while.
And that was a big problem for us because that has always been my approach to things, because I don't want to say something I'm going to regret. And when I am angry or hurt or whatever it is, I can say things that are mean, you know, hurtful, and so he'll push me. Like, he wants to solve the problem immediately.
Yeah, I want to talk. Let's
and
do
I
this.
need
And
time
I'll follow
to
her
like
around the house and like say, no, let's talk. No,
and
no,
I'm
no,
like,
no,
just leave me alone. Just don't. And so things would blow up, and then I would say things to hurt him, and he would say things to hurt me, and then it would last a week or a month, or the bitterness would just settle in. And he's learned that if you could just give me a little bit of space, and even give himself some space, and really pray about it. Check your heart and don't be prideful in whatever you think you're right about, and be willing to listen to the other person. But you can't always do that in the moment of anger. So you need to take that time apart. I mean, I don't think you should go days and have time apart and be quiet. I mean, the Bible says do not let the sun set on your anger. And so I think it's really good if you can try and work it out by the end of the day, by the end of the night. I mean, sometimes that doesn't happen. And a lot of times I will go to sleep angry and wake up and I'm done. It doesn't even need to be a discussion. I'm over it.
And a lot of times I think this is pretty common for guys. It could just be 15 minutes to half an hour.
That's not always the case for us.
Like you know, I might get really mad about something, but I can't stay that way. I can say that in a conflict situation, I've never kept my mouth shut and then looked back on it and regretted it. But there have been many times where I have not kept my mouth shut and have regretted it.
We're already at 12 minutes. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
What time flies when you're talking about yourself? Okay, there's a lot of questions about our story, like our testimony, and I think it would be really cool to do just a separate video with your testimony and a separate video with mine, because that can take a lot of time. So
sure, I
think we'll do that another time.
Yeah. Okay.
My favorite moisturizer, I don't really have. Right now I really love the Andalou Naturals one, and I'm using Benigma. I'm giving that one a shot, but I always go back to Andalou Naturals. I love that one.
Cetaphil for me, totes.
I'd love to know more about how you got involved in foster care. Do you see yourself adopting in the future?
We got involved in it rather unexpectedly. The first time a few years ago, there was a kid that we sort of knew through friends of friends that
needed a home.
He needed a home on short notice. So we did the quick. It's like
NEFRM, non-related extended family member.
Yeah, and we fostered him. And after that experience and seeing the impact that it had on his life and how he's okay now, it kind of planted that seed. We've always had a heart for kids and like the missions work that we've done in the Dominican and stuff. So that's kind of been something we wanted to do again, and so we just looked into it, and now we're doing like standard foster care, but through an agency. And
would we ever adopt? Like we said, we're praying about it. I have the heart for it, but I really have to be careful of my kids and just make sure it's a wise decision. I want to like take all the children into our home, and I want to save everyone. But as we're learning through this foster experience, it's hard work, and you take in damaged children, and it can damage your own children, and you have to be really careful and prayerful about that. So we're praying about it.
It is a huge blessing though.
Yeah. Gina asked, I'm wondering if having 4 kids has made you think, yeah, I can handle more kids, or no way, not having more kids, 2 is enough.
Well, it doesn't make you think no way. But it doesn't...
Sometimes it does.
But it doesn't make you think, yeah, 4 kids, like super easy.
I think the hard part about this is that the girls we have right now are 2 and 3, which are hard ages. They're the hardest ages. You don't have working up to those ages. You bring them in and you just are starting where they are, and that's overwhelming and challenging. But I love having 4 kids. Like, I think that's been really fun, and I could see us having 4 kids in our family. I think if we adopted, I would want to adopt a little bit older, like 5 and 6, 4, 5, and 6 in that range.
No diapers would be nice.
No diapers. Okay, how did you meet Jimmy? We actually made a video, that marriage video, and we talked about that. So I need to edit it. It's an old video we filmed, so I will edit that one soon, have that up, and that has the story of how we met.
It was very romantic then.
Curriculum suggestions for homeschool. Oh, that one's tough because we use a lot of different curriculums, but I love classical education. So anything if you look up classical education, I think there's a website where they have a bunch of different curriculum options along that method of education. I think is really, really good. I really liked Singapore math. First language lessons has been really cool. Explore the code. I like that one. Vitacost history, that is amazing. So I have a link below of all my homeschool videos, so you can link that, and that will tell you about all the different curriculum that we've used. I need to do an update on homeschool. I might have to do a part 2 to this. We'll just keep filming.
All right.
And then I'll cut off at some point, and then we'll do like a
Should we change outfits in the middle?
No,
so
it's just
makes everybody think it was two different days.
So I'm not sure where we're gonna cut off, but at some point, if this video ends, just know it'll be a part 2. We have 5 kids in the car right now.
But you know what? It's like smooth going today.
Seriously, like when you have 4 of a hair, 1 more is like not a bit. I feel like 3.
It's almost easier because
3 to 4 is a lot. Because when we had just 3 kids, when Chloe had a sleepover with Becky on Friday night, we slept just 3. Hold on a second. You guys, just a little quieter, please. When we had just the 3, it did feel a lot easier. So I feel like from 3 to 4 is a big change. But if you're gonna have 4, just keep going.
Keep going.
Just keep